Hi, my name is Zac Skinner, and this is the Hudson River. Part of my art practice is to walk along the shoreline and clean up all of the trash that I can find as an act of reclamation and sort of a cleansing gesture and a way to reflect on our consumption and the way that we treat the landscape. This year for Wave Hill, I'm making an installation that's a dystopian landscape. It partly imagines the future and sort of asks us to think about what happens if we don't change the way that we consume and waste, and how this waste is inseparable from the land that is our source. My recent interest has been in this idea of the Anthropocene landscape, and that idea sort of implies that nature doesn't have a balance anymore. It's been overrun by the industrialism, the waste, the displacing forces of humanity. And so part of my practice has been taking a deep look at the way that we treat the landscape through our waste, through detritus that can be found along the shoreline. There was a moment when I started working with the shoreline of the Hudson River. Several years ago, I volunteered for Riverkeeper's annual river sweep, and I remember the experience of walking along the shoreline with my plastic bag, grabbing trash out of the soil and giving it a good tug, and behind it, all of this impacted trash tumbled out. You quickly come to realize that we're standing on top of layers of waste, and that really impacted me. This year, because of the virus, the Riverkeeper's annual river sweep was canceled. I think the shoreline, especially now this year, it needs a lot of love. It's become a part of my artistic practice. Once a week, I try to go out and clean up along the shoreline. I bring bags with me and gloves to protect me from the germs, and I collect everything that's not biodegradable. And some of that goes back into the recycling system after I clean it up. Some of it goes back into the trash system, and some of it ends up in my sculptures. The Hudson River is really important to me. This practice is something that you could do too. I found that it's a really good social distancing activity. Nobody wants to do it. You get to be alone, enjoy the landscape, and do something good by gathering trash and disposing of it properly.